Good day, good day. It's Thursday, Facebook Live day, and today we are going to make deodorant, but it's going to be the summer version. So I have two versions. One is the summer version and one is the winter version, and today we're going to do the summer version. It's just a little bit more steps than the winter one, but I find that it makes a big difference when we're working in the heat and want our deodorant to last just a little bit longer and not just kind of dissipate with all of the heat. So my secret ingredient to help it to stay a little bit more cohesive is beeswax. So we're going to make melt some beeswax and some coconut oil and add the other ingredients together. So the main ingredients are baking soda, so just your regular old baking soda, coconut oil, which I buy it in bulk, so it's already ready to go. Arrowroot powder, which I buy it in bulk also. And I realized as I went to pull out the arrowroot today that I only have enough to make half of a batch today, so that's okay. I'm going to half the recipe and just make a smaller amount, and that's perfectly okay. And some beeswax, which we're going to melt up as well. And then the oils that you want for your deodorant. So I've got some masculine oils and some feminine oils, so depending on who you're making it for, you can kind of customize it that way. So I've got my double boiler on here, and I'm just going to get it boiling and ready to go. And then I'm going to get my beeswax ready. So sometimes you can get beeswax in pellets, little tiny pellets, and they're a lot easier to work with. But our local organic store just has them in chunks, so I'm going to make them into pellets with this handy dandy little grater. It's just little mini, so it's easy to work with and easy to clean. So the amounts that we're working with, so the full recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and 3 tablespoons of arrowroot, and 1 tablespoon of beeswax. So I'm going to cut that in half. So I'm going to do half a tablespoon of beeswax. I'm just going to grate it so that it's easier to measure, and also it melts quicker. So if I don't, if I just throw a chunk like this in there, I've done it before. I've kind of estimated how much it is, and it takes a long time to melt. So I don't want to be sitting here watching a chunk of wax melting. So this is my little trick. And if you don't have a little grater, a regular size one will do, just enough to get it going. See now how I've got it in like pellet form, so just in little grated amounts, much easier to work with. A little bit more. As you're doing DIYs too, I find that I get really good at eyeballing the amounts. I still measure, but makes it a little bit easier than not exactly knowing how much you've got. So here's my half a tablespoon. Just press it in there. I do this, I also shave my cocoa butter. So for recipes, I also buy it in chunks. Shea butter doesn't really need to be, it's pretty soft, so it's easy to measure. But it's these hard things. And there we go, I've got my half a tablespoon of beeswax. So if you want to know what my winter recipe is, it's very simple. Just a few different tweaks. Give me a message and I'll tell you what my winter one is. Because I know that some people watching are in winter right now, and some of us are in summer. But you might want to use this deodorant until the winter hits, and then switch over to the winter version. So I'm also going to get ready my coconut oil, which calls for 2 tablespoons, but we're going to half that and do 1. I'll grab a little knife, measure that out. Oh, one of the wonderful things about summer is it pours, so I don't have to pre-do that. It's already melted. And let's just get the beeswax going. So I put another extra little cup in here so that my tin doesn't flip over. It just kind of makes it stay a little bit more sturdy there. So I've got 1/2 tablespoon. And my full tablespoon. And that'll melt up pretty quickly. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to measure 1/2 tablespoon of baking soda. This is the joy of the big containers. I usually have it in a smaller one, but didn't have that ready today. 1/2 tablespoon of baking soda, and it'll be 1.5 tablespoons of arrowroot because it calls for 3, so I'm halving it. So there's my half, and there's my 1. It's really, really simple recipe. That's almost melted. I find for myself, sometimes the baking soda, when I use it on a regular daily basis, it can change the pH level a little bit and cause a little bit of a rash, and that's from the baking soda. Just I haven't quite figured out how to adjust that yet, so I usually just give it a break from my own deodorant and use the Young Living one, and then it clears up in a day. So if you're like, I'm never ever going to make deodorant, don't be ridiculous. But Young Living has 2 different flavors. One is mountain mint, and I think the other one is meadow mist or something. So one's more minty and one's more, I don't know, I forgot to smell the other one before my daughter took it. So those ones I will use if I need a bit of a break from my own. But not everybody responds to baking soda that way. It just depends on your body. So just play it by ear, see how you're going. If you get a bit of a rash, take a break, go back to another one, and then give that a go. So this is ready. And I can pour that right in and start stirring it up, and I should get a nice paste right away. So this deodorant, of course, isn't an antiperspirant because antiperspirants restrict us from sweating, which our bodies need to naturally sweat. But the whole point of this deodorant is so that when you are sweating, you can at least smell nice, and it can control some of the overheating too. So I've got kind of like the consistency of toothpaste right now, which is perfect. Because as it cools, as the coconut oil and the beeswax cool, it will start to harden a bit more. So you can, if you have old containers like this, you can fill them up, and one batch, not the half batch, but the full batch, pretty much fills a whole container like this. So it's great. Just keep those old ones if you've got some from a different brand or whatnot, and refill them. And they're easy to, I just throw them in the dishwasher, and they're easy to clean out. So here we go, really nice pasty consistency. So now for the oils. This is your opportunity to experiment and figure out what you like and change it up every time. So some really, without doing any special blends or whatever, 2 super good ones are Purification and Thieves. So you could do a Purification one for yourself to help control odor, and Thieves help to control like bacteria and stuff like that. So lots of guys like the Thieves one, and lots of gals like the Purification, or either. These ones are pretty much interchangeable. Anybody can use those ones. Stress Away, you can just do straight up Stress Away, and I don't think it is, no, it's not a UV issue. So you do want to be careful that if any of them are photosensitive, that you're being careful with how much oils you're putting directly on your skin in the sun. So Stress Away is awesome. Straight Old Lavender is good for anybody, even for kids, for teens and stuff. The lavender is a good old standby. So I'm not going to do any of those because those are all basic, no fiddling, just add your oils. I'm going to do a blend. So you can do, when you're doing just straight up oils, you want to do between between 5 and 10 oils, depending on which one. Just kind of go by feel. So today I found a blend, actually the last batch I made, I found a blend of cedarwood, patchouli, and ylang ylang, and have been using that and really enjoyed it. So I'm going to half it. So it was 3 drops of ylang ylang, 2 drops of patchouli, and 2 drops of cedarwood. So I'm just going to do 1 cedarwood, 1 patchouli, and 2 ylang ylang, and see how that smells. So 1, 2, and 1 patchouli. And geranium's another nice one too. Quite feminine, flowery, if you like that. And cedarwood. And blend that up. Oh, I had a bigger container, but I think this is going to fit in a little travel container. We are taking some time away to go camping and going to the city and such, so it would be nicer to have a smaller container. I'm going to grab that little one. It's just tiny. It's 25 mil, so it's not that big. But I think it'll fit this just fine. So again, if I'm putting it in a jar, I'm going to be wiping it, just rubbing it on. But if you put it in one of these, you can do the whole without having to touch it if that's not your thing. And just fill the jar. Again, with all of your DIYs, any DIYs you're making, use them up quick. Don't store them for a long time. The whole point of doing our DIYs is not using any chemical preservatives in them. So it's a good idea to make them and use them. Don't make more than you need. Sometimes I do make more than I need, and then I will share it, so gift it to somebody. And lots of people like to get gifts. I like to get gifts. So I would imagine other people do too. So just share it around. If you make too much, share it around. You can also store some of your DIYs in the fridge, and that will help to lengthen their life as well. So I've got a big air pocket at the bottom. So I'm going to do a little banging. And that helps to, look at now I've got a big hole in the top, which is great. So I could probably do a little bit more just to get those air bubbles out. But that made 25 mil. So a full batch is 50 mil, which would cover the next size jar up, which is perfect. Again, not too much, so that you can remake it and have it fresh. And it's lovely. It's a really nice smell. So that is our DIY deodorant for the summer. If you want to know the winter recipe, just message me and I will tell you the different, how to do that differently. And you're set to go for all of your seasons. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. If you're not part of our group yet, please search us on Facebook, RDYL Therese, T-E-R-E-S-E. And there's a private group and a public page. Feel free to join us wherever you feel led to, and read up on stories, share your stories, and yeah, I'm glad you joined me. So we'll chat soon. Bye-bye.